What's up, guys? This is Joe with McPicks, here to break down UFC 286, Kamaru Usman taking on Leon Edwards. This is the trilogy fight, takes place in London at the O2 Arena. So I know for the previous card, I did not put out a video. Going forward, I'm really just going to put out videos for pay-per-view events and really good fight night cards. It's honestly just really time consuming. So I give a lot of credit to all the content creators out there. So this card, really big card, 15 fights. Lerone Murphy is staying on the card. He just got announced a fight against Gabriel Santos, so that's good. But we have a lot to talk about. I'm going to give you guys more quick breakdowns this time around. Talk about who I think is going to win and how I think they're going to win it. So let's get right into it. The first matchup is Juliana Miller taking on Veronica Macedo. Now she's actually Veronica Hardy. But let's take a look at the line for this one. Miller is a big favorite, minus 460. Veronica coming back is plus 320. So I think the line is justified here. Macedo, I don't know why she doesn't fight at 115. She's really small for the division. Miller's going to have 3 inches of height, 2 inches of reach, and I think she's just going to be able to bully Veronica Hardy in the octagon. That seems to be Hardy's downfall. When she fought against even like Andrea Lee, she was getting tossed around. She got submitted by Robertson, and she just got outstruck from Malecki, who I don't even think is in the UFC anymore. So she could be outgrappled and outstruck on the feet. And Miller just honestly looks really good. She's well-rounded. She pushes the pace, averages 4.3 takedowns per 15 minutes completed. She's high volume, and she has high finishing upside. And to top it off, Hardy has not fought in 3 years. It's going to be 3 years when a little over 3 years when 286 starts on March 18th. So I just think Miller has advantages everywhere. I think she's going to get her down to the mat and either submit her or finish her by strikes. Official prediction is going to be Miller by submission. Next up, we have Ludwig Klein taking on Jai Herbert. Klein is the favorite, minus 165. Herbert is plus 136. I definitely like Klein in this matchup for a number of reasons. Herbert's definitely big for the division. He's 6'1", has a substantial height and reach advantage over Klein. He's a good striker, but that's all he has over Klein. He's super low volume, only landing, 2.45 strikes landed per minute. Not good at all. He has a terrible striking defense of 42% and a terrible takedown defense of 55%. Klein's well-rounded. He has the same amount of knockouts as submissions on his record, and he's a finisher. So I actually think that Klein can have success in the feet because he hits hard and he's fast. And I also think that he has a huge grappling advantage here. I mean, that's been the downfall of Herbert. And Herbert's also about 7 years older than Klein. And he doesn't have any substantial wins on his record. He beat Kyle Nelson and Kama Worthy, and the Kyle Nelson fight was relatively close. Klein, when he came to the UFC, he was fighting at featherweight, 145, had a couple tough losses. But ever since he jumped up to 155, I've really liked the way he looked. Historically he had some cardio issues at 145, but it had to be the weight cut. It definitely was a substantial weight cut for him. He seems to kind of have cleared that up at the 155 division, and he's looked really good. So I think that he has multiple ways to win. He can grapple. He can even hurt Herbert on the feet, who's been knocked out. I think that Klein is more durable, even though he's been finished before. I just think he's the more durable fighter at this stage in his career. And I can see Klein actually knocking out Herbert. So the official prediction is going to be Klein via knockout. Next, we have Casey O'Neill taking on Jennifer Maia. Let's take a look at the line. O'Neill is the favorite, minus 182, plus 148 for Maia. I think this fight's going to be close. Casey O'Neill has looked really good. She's younger. She's going to be the bigger fighter here. Really, really high output. She's going to land more strikes. And she also likes to grapple. Maia is definitely no slouch. She definitely fought the better level of competition. But I'm just going to favor Casey O'Neill here. I think she's going to be able to outpoint Maia to a decision. There is a world where if Casey O'Neill takes down Maia, then Maia can submit her. She's a really good grappler, although she never attempts her own takedowns. But I just think that I like the youth of Casey O'Neill. She's bigger, and I think she's going to land more and win a decision. So official prediction is going to be O'Neill by decision. Next fight we have is Jake Hadley taking on Malcolm Gordon. Hadley is a big favorite, minus 350, plus 255 for Gordon. So definitely Hadley is the rightful favorite. But what gives me pause in this fight was when Hadley got completely outgrappled by Alan Nascimento. He lost 30-27. He couldn't get up. Alan Nascimento was taking him down, beating him to positions, and he was just a bigger fighter there. And Gordon is also a pretty good grappler. He actually had a decent account of himself against Muhammad Makayev, and I believe he's the bigger fit fighter. Oh no, they're about the same size, but still gives me pause the way that um, Nascimento was able to just completely outgrapple Hadley. But on the other end, Gordon has a terrible chin. He's been finished in all of his losses, knocked out 4 times, submitted twice, and I really like the gas tank and the overall well-roundedness of Hadley. But I kind of think the line is too wide to justify the price based on the fact that Nascimento just completely ran through him. But official prediction, I'm actually going to go Hadley via knockout for this one. Next, we have Christian Leroy Duncan. There's 2 Chris Duncans on this fight card, taking on Dushko Todorovic. So originally, when I was looking into this matchup, I thought I was going to take a shot on Christian Leroy Duncan because he's super durable. He's had an extensive amateur career, never been knocked out, and in his pro career, he has been finished, and I believe he's undefeated in his professional career. He is. He looks sharp. He does look really good. His striking looks good. He has power. He's finished 6 of his 7 wins. But if you look back at his amateur career, he has a lot of losses, all by decision, but he can get out grappled. And Dushko isn't the best grappler in the world, but he can commit to takedowns and take guys down and hold them down and beat them up. Um, but Dushko has terrible, terrible striking defense, 47%. He's been knocked out in the past. So you definitely got to give the durability and finishing upside to Christian Leroy Duncan. But I think this price is probably about right. Official prediction is going to be Duncan by knockout. Next, we have Muhammad Makayev taking on Jeffel Filho. Filho is making his UFC debut. Let's take a look at the line. Makayev, no surprise, huge favorite, minus 900, plus 540 for Filho. So I looked into this one quickly. I mean, Filho, he looks pretty good. He's well-rounded. He's a finisher. He has a 93% finish rate, 5 by knockout, 8 by submission. But it's tough to bet against Makayev. Has a obviously he's the better wrestler, has a really good gas tank, undefeated. So quick breakdown. I think Makayev just submits his guy at some point. So I'll predict Makayev by submission. Next we have Sam Patterson taking on Yanal Ashmov. Patterson's the favorite, minus 295. Ashmov plus 230. So Patterson is absolutely huge for the division. Let's see how tall he is. He's 6'3" and has a 78-inch reach. On UFC stats, Yanal Ashmov's his height and reach is not listed, but I know that Patterson's going to have a substantial height and reach advantage. And what I really like about Patterson, not only is he huge, but he's super well-rounded. He's a pretty good striker, but he's a really, really good grappler. And I also like he has really, really good conditioning, really good cardio. Yanal looks decent. I saw a couple of fights of his. He's a good striker, can wrestle, doesn't really have any jiu-jitsu. Um, I just see Patterson. I just see Patterson being able to withstand all the striking of Ashmaz, eventually getting this fight down to the mat, whether he gets taken down by Ashmaz or he gets his own takedown and submitting Ashmaz at some point. Patterson again has those really long arms, and he's chaining submissions and can definitely finish Ashmaz on the mat. So the official prediction is going to be Patterson by submission. Next, we have Jack Shore taking on Makwan Amirkhani. Shore is the big favorite, minus for minus 500. Comeback for Americani plus 390 underdog. So I just think that Jack Shore is better everywhere. He was undefeated. He recently lost to Ricky Simon. No shame in that. Simon's been on a tear lately. But I think that Jack Shore is the better striker. He's a better grappler. And most importantly, he has the way better cardio. I think Americani is going to be round one or bust here. Americani usually finishes guys by submissions, but Jack Shore's a really, really good grappler. He was submitted in his last fight, but it was really a club and sub. Simon hurt him on the feet and then ended up getting that arm triangle. But Americani, he can be outstruck and outgrappled. He's round one or bust, and he doesn't have the best durability either. He's been knocked out a number of times. But in this fight, I could see Jack Shore just grinding him out to a decision and winning unanimously. So the official prediction is going to be Shore by decision. Next, we have Chris Duncan taking on Omar Morales. This is the other Chris Duncan. Both guys are making the UFC debut, but this Chris Duncan is from Scotland. This is a much more closely lined fight. It's about a pick'em. Morales, slight favorite, minus 115, minus 105 for Duncan. I actually really like Morales in this matchup. I do not think that Chris Duncan's UFC caliber. He's slow, he's lumbering, he's super hittable. He was knocked out in his first Contender Series fight against Slava Klaus. And then in his most recent Contender Series win, he was extremely close to being finished, and he ended up knocking out the other guy. But Morales, on the other hand, he's well-rounded. He's coming off two losses, but against really good competition, or good. One of them's really good. Jonathan Pierce kind of just ragdolled him. No shame in that. And then he took a fight against Uros Medic, who's an up-and-coming. He's an explosive, big prospect, really good striker, and he was finished in both those fights. The first time Morales was ever finished was the last two fights, but I think it's a good buy low spot for Morales. I think he has way faster hands, way more athletic, and I actually think that even though he only has two knockouts on his record, I think that he knocks out Chris Duncan at some point. The dude just has no striking defense and is so hittable. So official prediction is going to be Morales by knockout. Next, we have a fight that was just recently announced. Lerone Murphy taking on Gabriel Santos. So as of right now, when I'm making this video, the line on two books is very weird. Lerone Murphy is minus 240 on an offshore book, but he's only minus 135 on DraftKings right now. I'd imagine some money is going to be coming in on Murphy. I was super tempted in taking a shot here, but I'm just going to pass. Murphy is a really, really good striker. He's super athletic, but overall, he's kind of low volume. Let's see how much he lands per minute. He lands 2.58 strikes per minute. That's really low. And he has a 36% takedown defense, which is not good. Everyone he's fought so far besides Hamosh, has been able to take him down and control him. Especially in his last fight, Americani took him down 5 times and won the first round of control, and then was knocked out in the second round. But this guy Santos actually looks really good. He's well-rounded. He's definitely going to be the better grappler here. Has good jiu-jitsu. What concerns me, he's taking this fight on very short notice. And I've seen in his regional footage, he's been hurt multiple times. Like in not his last fight, the fight before that, he was hurt in the feet bad, and the guy almost finished him, but he's tough, man. He stuck it out and ended up getting to the second round and knocking the other guy out with a head kick. But even against his fight against Elvis Brenner, who beat Tuhugov in his most recent fight in the UFC, I don't think he won, but he had a good fight with Tuhugov. Brenner at one point was on top of him, just pounding away. But Santos came back in the third. He has good cardio, was able to get Brenner down and almost submit him. So Santos is a really good fighter. It's a really tough matchup to call, in my opinion. I was really tempted on Murphy, given you kind of know what to expect from Murphy. He's a super athletic, good striker, and Santos taking the fight on short notice. But I'm going to pass here. I'm going to take Murphy to win. I'm actually going to take him to win by knockout, even though both these guys neither of these guys been finished, but Santos just pushes a pace, and he's been hurt and wobbled on the feet before in his previous matchup. So prediction is going to be Murphy by knockout. Next up, Marvin Vettori taking on Roman Dolidze. Vettori is the favorite, minus 270, plus 220 for Dolidze. So every time Dolidze fights, I'm just so tempted to bet against him. But this guy just pulls through. I mean, this guy has some serious jiu-jitsu skills. I mean, I bet against him in his last fight against Jack Hermanson. Jack Hermanson looked great in the feet, was outpointing Dolidze, engaged in the grappling. Dolidze just completely dominated him, got him in a really bad spot, and ended up knocking him out on the ground. But I honestly, I mean, I keep on thinking this, but I think Dolidze, his success stops here. I mean, Vittori's never been finished, fought the way better level of competition. He's the way better cardio, better wrestler. He's super durable, never finished. And I think he could either outpoint Dolidze on the feet or take him down and beat him up. But you never know. This guy Dolidze keeps on surprising me. But the prediction is going to be Vettori by decision. Both guys are really tough. I think Vettori can kind of do what he wants with him and stay safe. I don't see him getting submitted here or knocked out. So Vettori by decision. Next up, we have Gunnar Nelson taking on Brian Barberena. Nelson, big favorite, minus 400. Barberena plus 280 underdog. So I don't know. This is kind of a weird fight. I don't think Nelson should be that big of a favorite. He's just so low volume. I mean, it's obviously his go-to is his jiu-jitsu and his grappling, his control, but he gets outstruck in a lot of his fights. And Brian Barberena has a good cardio, good volume. I mean, he was just submitted against RDA, but so obviously he can get submitted against Gunnar Nelson. But I just think that if Barberena is able to get back up or even keep this on the feet, he has a good shot of winning this. But just that takedown defense of 54%, he's been outgrappled by low level competition. Anthony Ivy took him down 5 times. I mean, that's a red flag right there. But it's just I think the fight should be lined more closely. But I'm going to take Nelson. I think he does get him down and eventually submit him. So Nelson by submission. Next we have Joanne Wood taking on Luana Carolina. Take a look at the line. Joanne Wood is a minus 165 favorite, plus 145 for Carolina. It's another one where I was just thinking about taking a shot on the favorite in Joanne Wood. She just has fought the way better level of competition, has more experience. She has really, really good Muay Thai, really good output, lands 6.76 strikes per minute and absorbs only 4.54. She could shoot for takedowns in her own right. But Carolina is not a bad Muay Thai striker either. She's going to be a little bit lower volume. But what really kind of kept me away is Carolina is going to be bigger in this matchup. I think she's going to be stronger. She's way younger. She is 8 years younger. And Wood is just like floppy to me. Like she could be just kind of thrown down or, out grappled. And she's been submitted a number of times. And Carolina, even though she's a Muay Thai fighter, she does go for some submissions. She actually averages one submission attempt per 15 minutes. It's just a pass overall. I just can't bet on Joanne Wood as a favorite. So I'm going to take her to win by decision, but I don't think I'm going to bet it. Next, we have co-main event, Justin Gaethje taking on Rafael Fiziev. Really good fight here. You know this one's going to be fireworks. Fiziev is a big favorite, minus 230, and Gaethje is plus 190. So I agree with Fiziev being the rightful favorite, but I think this line's wide. I think he should be more in like the minus 150 range. Justin Gaethje is going to land the more volume. He's fought the better level of competition. He's a super good boxer, really technical. 7.46 strikes landed per minute. And Fiziev, he doesn't have bad cardio, but he has slowed down in the past. The reason why I'm sticking with Fiziev is because I think he's more durable than Gaethje. Gaethje's been in so many wars. He's older now. He's like 34, 35 years old. I think he's 34. Fiziev's only, 29. And he's just been in so many less wars. He has a lot more tread in the tires. And he looked really good against RDA. He was able to sustain that power. He knocked out RDA in the 5th round. Yeah, I like again, I don't hate people for taking a shot on Gaethje given he could just outpoint and obviously he can hurt Physique, Gaethje has a lot of power. If this was 5 years ago, I'd probably take a shot on Gaethje, but Fiziev has all the momentum, and I'm going to take Fiziev to win by decision. I think Gaethje hangs in there, and Fiziev just lands the more impactful, flashy, harder strikes, and wins the decision here. Next, we have the main event, the trilogy. Leon Edwards taking on Kamaru Usman. Usman is the favorite, minus 240. Leon Edwards plus 200. Yeah, I mean, I like the former champ here, Kamaru Usman. I mean, he's just such a good wrestler, has such a great gas tank. He can push a pace over 5 rounds. In their last fight, he was winning until he got knocked out late in the fifth. I mean, you just have to favor the minute winner in Usman here, in my opinion. Leon Edwards won the first round, but Usman won the second, third, fourth, and was winning the fifth round clearly. You just got to favor him. He's just too good. He's a really good striker. He could just grind against you as crazy good takedown defense. And I think he just grinds out a decision win here. Obviously, there's a risk of Edwards knocking him out again, but I don't think it's going to happen. That was a really good shot. I think that Usman's going to come back motivated. There's a lot of talk about Usman's knees. His knees aren't good. He's got terrible knees. He won't be able to push the wrestling, but we haven't seen him slowing. Actually, I think he's gotten better over the years. His striking definitely has gotten better, and I just think that he's the minute winner here. So I'm going to take Usman to win by decision. So that does it. 15 fights in the books. I realize I took all favorites, and I don't like doing that, but the thing is, I think that all the favorites are rightfully favored. I think that some of the lines are wide and they could be closer, but I'm not going to choose an underdog just because to choose an underdog. I think that a lot of these favorites are rightfully so. With that being said, I don't know if you guys have picked up on this, but it just seems like with these pay-per-view cards, a lot of the favorites win. I mean, there's definitely some upsets, some big upsets, but I just feel like on pay-per-view events, a lot of these favorites win. That's a speculation. Not trying to be superstitious, but that's how it is. Okay, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter. I post my Twitter handle in the bio of this video. And if you want to take a look at my bets, my Bet MMA account website where you can access all my bets is listed in the bio as well. And as always, good luck on your bets.